Hello and welcome to the Carbitrage Podcast, episode 279. I'm Eric Berger, joined as always by my co-host Ryan Sininsky.
Hey, that's me.
Radio voice number one. Patreon.com/Carbitrage. On this super custom handcrafted Patreon page, you'll find 3 open-ended levels of support starting at just $1 a month for content consumers. That's you to support content producers like us. Patreon.com/Carbitrage. What are you looking at?
I was just looking at the wonderful art on Indeed Mexican Honey Light. I love their Mexican honey.
Tomato. Yeah, it's a good beer. That one's been in there for a while, so may as well enjoy it. The ASMR stream is live.
That's good. That's good beer.
Woo! And I am drinking some McDonald's French fries.
Good. So, at the end of last week's episode, we hinted that our friend Jonny is looking for a car.
Mr. Langholz.
So Jonny, he's not a car person at all. He is.
That's fine.
He's a QA manager at Activision, and he suddenly has to drive to work from Edina to Eden Prairie. Reasonable drive.
It's like, 9-10 miles?
It's assume 20-minute drive to work. So he's got a 20-minute commuter drive.
Rush hour traffic? Or
Yes,
okay.
Rush hour. So then the ship has sailed for learning a manual, because you're not trying to be new to manual while sitting in rush hour traffic in the middle of winter.
What if he goes to the mini driving school?
Yeah, that's not happening.
I know.
Yeah. So
I'm being obtuse. I do that sometimes.
So, like manual transmission, not an option. So he needs something that's like relatively cheap.
Does he have off-street parking?
He does have off-street parking.
Okay.
Something that's relatively cheap, not too big, something that's easy to park, easy to drive,
With a good automatic.
reliable, has an automatic transmission. It's not a problem.
Does he have a budget?
He would like to keep it around the $7,000 mark. He'd be willing to go a little bit more if he needs to finance. But this is what he has shown me so far. So far, he's sent me a Fiesta. And I'm like,
okay,
cool car, but that has the power shift, so the transmission will explode. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when, and there's nothing you can do about it because the transmission was designed poorly.
Correct.
And that's just... And then he showed me a Transit Connect, and I'm like, same transmission. I want that damn van.
First or second gen?
They all had it, apparently.
No. First gens were early Focuses. They have a regular old 4-speed Autobahn.
No shit.
Yeah.
It was the second gen then.
Okay.
But then he showed me a Impreza. Impreza was fine, but the thing is he's not trying to like spend all his money in the world on maintenance. Like, and I told him, like, head gasket aside, let's assume you don't have a head gasket.
If he buys it, he's not going to put enough miles on it where it
Yeah.
probably will fail in his ownership.
It'll be fine. But the thing is that if he gets a flat tire, he's gonna have to do all 4 tires, because it'll probably be like
'Cause it's a real all-wheel drive system.
Yeah, it'll probably be a 5 or 6 30 seconds, and so you have to do all the tires. Then they sent me a Mazda 6. I'm like, this is a really, really good car. I'd recommend Mazda. Not the 6 though, because this had a recall for spiders. And he goes, "I'm sorry, what?"
Yeah, it's a thing.
I'm like, no, this is. I'm like, these cars have this problem where I had to explain to him how the evap system worked. I'm like, so the smell that gasoline evap systems make attracts spiders. And this car...
Thanks, nature.
Yeah, because we live in hell.
It's the good place.
Yeah, and so this car had an evap system where the hose was a little bit wider to prevent another issue, but what would happen is it would attract spiders, and it would get clogged with dead spiders. And so
it's just not a sentence that should really ever exist.
And so you'd have like 50 times as many spiders in the car as a normal vehicle, like an insane amount of spiders. Like, it's just covered in spiders at all times. And I'm like, problem.
For most people,
yes,
unless you love spiders.
I'm like, but they did do a recall, and it dropped the figure significantly. So
but it's not zero.
The recalled one has like only 10 times as many spiders as a normal vehicle. He goes, I hate spiders. I don't want this. I'm like, it's a good car otherwise, I swear to God.
But there is this one thing.
But there's this
and
one.
I would be remiss if I didn't.
Extremely cursed problem that I would not be able to sleep well not telling you about.
That would
this.
be like trying to sell me a car and saying it's prone to snake nests.
Yes.
I'd be like, absolutely not. Kill that entire thing with fire.
Nope. Yeah, so
I think encourage my neighbors to buy that one.
I think the Mazda 3 is probably the move.
But in order to get one down to $7,000, you're gonna be in a second gen, and they're fine.
Yeah.
But I would rather see him in a first gen TSX.
That would be a good car, actually. I'm going to mention that to him because you can probably get like a first-gen TSX.
You can get a nice one for that.
The thing is this is my issue with TSXs is those are a crapshoot because that's a car that's commonly modified. And like
Yeah, but the auto's not as much.
it is very true, yeah.
And
So,
I've recommended those to people before.
I think a
and
first-gen TSX would be a good vehicle.
They're solid.
Also, that'd be a good car to have in a parking lot. It's one of those things where it doesn't really matter, but it's like one of those little things where it's like
Still got a really nice interior. The powertrain's never ever going to go wrong.
if you ever had to go to like a work lunch, having your coworkers get into your TSX
It's gonna
would
be
be a little bit better.
It's gonna be a leather interior.
I think
it's gonna
that's.
be. Yeah.
I think that might be that's actually better. I like that more than my Mazda 3 answer. I'm gonna tell him that.
Well, I love Mazda 3s. Don't get me wrong, but the first ones are made of rust. The second gens are just not interesting, and the third gens are too much.
So the second gens do have a problem. They have carbon buildup issues because
Those are direct injected.
Yep, they're early direct injection. Super easy to fix. Doesn't have any like weird problems that it causes, but it can
Yeah.
cause a misfire, and it is something
And
to
that's
consider.
an annoyance. Yeah,
It can cause an annoyance, and I think that you have that might be the move because
If I had $7,000 to buy and it had to be a combustion fuel commuter and it had to be an auto, I
Yeah.
think I would buy a TSX.
I think a first generation TSX would be my move as well. If you had asked me this like 5 years ago, I'd probably say G35.
Yeah, but we know now.
Yeah, well, yeah, and like it's more that there aren't any good ones left because they're all being donutted into crowds of people.
And again, if you bought a G35 that didn't currently chain slap, he's never going to run into it himself.
No,
Whereas, like, that's why I would never recommend an E46, even though it can narrow you into a year and a model that will have a transmission that will never go wrong. But there are a lot of other things that will.
there's a lot that you would have to deal with.
And
yeah.
I'm never going to put a friend into one of those. Whereas I know that if I get a friend into a TSX and I want to go have drinks with
It'll
them
work.
someday, they'll show up.
It'll work. It'll be a functioning,
will
good
function.
vehicle.
And the interior is better put together on a TSX.
I would also say an IS250.
Yeah, if you can find. Can you find one? You probably could in budget.
All-wheel drive, yeah, within budget, totally. Early
Ooh.
IS250 all-wheel drive. That's not desirable at all to anybody, but to a not car enthusiast, that is a great car. It sounds awesome. It's super reliable.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I think I like the all-wheel drive too, because it's not like a real all-wheel drive system. It's an active all-wheel drive system, so it's not as big of a deal.
Yeah.
Like you can get away
It's
with like
similar to a Tesla, I
yeah.
think, isn't it?
yeah, it's not like super symmetrical where it'll grenade the whole freaking car.
I would also
been on
maybe
this-
look at a W204 or C300 Formatic with a sport pack, but not
Yeah.
the first 2 years.
This is my thing with that. I thought that there's a few cars I thought about.
Yeah.
That would like normally answer, but my issue is that if those have a problem, they have a problem.
Yeah, the 300s don't though. The
Yeah, but I mean,
350s
like
do.
the thing is, like if they do, so like let's say not an engine problem. Let's say it's a window motor
Sure,
problem.
that's true. Yep.
Like if it has just a normal car problem, needs struts, like it's gonna be just mind blowing.
If you don't have a good Indy, you're up a creek. All right, TSX. I vote TSX.
Yeah, I think even like with the Lexus, that could be a little bit too complicated. The TSX is really just an Accord. If it wasn't, Johnny, if this is just like, I have a friend that's management position that knows a little bit more about cars.
Or is willing to find a good Indy to take
Yes.
it to.
I would actually say a very late model 4.2 Jaguar XJ.
Oh my god. I mean, again, once those are done once, they're good.
They're good. I would say if you can find one that has had
Chains.
and cats done. Cats being the suspension. Air struts.
Yep.
Yeah, so air struts and chains on a XJ 4.2, perfect.
Yeah, but Johnny's not the type of dude that's looking for like the glitz and glam on a budget.
No, he also doesn't have a job where it matters that much. I mean, it matters a little bit because like there's within Activision, I imagine there's quite a bit of politics that happens.
Probably.
And so I'm considering
Talk
that
about
as well.
a Switzerland car though.
Yeah.
I drive an Acura.
Yeah, that's a
Okay.
That's a good
That's fine.
luxury car. It's nice. It's reliable. Yeah, I think the TSX is the correct move. Anyway,
That's a great car. I really like this.
10 out of 10. There you go, Johnny. Buy a TSX.
Ta-da!
All right.
Ooh,
so
I'm looking at the next thing. Hell
the
yeah.
next thing, it's a big day. It's
Modies.
the Modie Awards. Yay! Sorry we had to wait 10 minutes. That was a time sensitive
Johnny,
topic.
you can hop off now.
Yes, unless you wanted to listen to me.
I mean, please continue. We would love to have you as a listener.
So yes, the Modie Awards are annual award series in which we give awards that matter
Some
a
years.
lot to some people. And they may or may not know about it. I would say that these are as illustrious as the Oscars.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
They matter more than that.
Well, we don't make a big deal of it.
No,
really.
we don't. And so far, Chris Rock has never been hit at the Modie Awards.
Not so far.
No.
Hopefully
yet.
never, but
I would prefer not.
Yeah.
I don't want him on here.
no.
He hasn't done anything noteworthy in years.
He has a new Netflix comedy special.
All he does is he complains about Jada Pinkett Smith.
Oh, great. Spoiler alert. I haven't watched it yet.
Well, there you go. That's all it is. The
All
whole
right.
thing is just him complaining about Will Smith.
Okay.
But, like, the last thing he did that mattered was, like, Everybody Hates Chris.
His 90s
That-
comedy was really good.
That
but
was
a long
like,
time ago.
That was 15 years ago. He's done nothing since.
20.
Oh, Jesus.
More, almost 30 years. It was 30 years.
No, it wasn't.
The 90s were 30 years ago.
Yeah, but Everybody Hates Chris is 2000s.
Oh, right. Yes, yeah.
Everybody Hates Chris is 2000s. Anyway, so the Modie Awards.
We don't tangent ever.
We are going to make a little bit of a change here. We are both going to suggest a car for the award, and then we're going to agree between the two of us
Okay.
on each award.
Okay.
So let's go from the bottom up.
All right.
So we will. The last one will be the best new car. I want to start with objectively the worst vehicle of the year 2022. My choice is the Honda HR-V second generation. I chose this because it is slow. They killed the fit for it. It's generally meh. It is literally the slowest vehicle you can buy in the United States in 2022 by quarter mile time.
Okay.
Of all vehicles, including the Mirage, including the Spark.
But just on that metric, we have already spent a significant amount of time today saying how much we like slow cars.
Yes, slow cars are good, but not a meh car.
Correct.
Because
No, I'm not defending the HRV.
The Ford EcoSport,
EcoSpoot.
the EcoSpoot was a very slow vehicle. Was not a slow and fun
When
vehicle.
you told me that was all-wheel drive, had 1.6 non-turbo, I'm like, oh no.
This is the competitor to that. This is the car that killed that.
And this is slower?
This was more lifeless.
Wow.
Yes. And most importantly, why I give this the worst vehicle of 2022 is because they are unsafe.
Oh, right.
Catastrophically
I
unsafe.
forgot about the
When
rocker
they-
panel just
When
exploding.
they updated the NHTSA crash test requirements to say that you're being crashed into by another crossover instead of a Mirage, the B pillar detached itself from the floor and mained the hell out of the driver. So yeah, no, it's a terrible vehicle. It got like 0 stars on its side impact.
Weird how that happens when you update a crash
It is a
standard.
tremendous piece of shit. So that is my choice.
That is a very hateful thing. I had not forgotten about it, but I had kind of forgotten about it. My pick
Yes.
is the Hummer EV.
Ooh,
Because
good choice.
they took amazing new technology from a company that needs it, and they put it into a vehicle that weighs 9,000 pounds, has the frontal area of a house, and the aerodynamic properties of a bus.
Yes.
It's immediately obsolete.
It
And
is-
it's $200,000.
It is so heavy you can't even off-road with it.
Correct.
Like it just breaks the suspension.
Yep.
The
What's
sec-
9,000 pounds?
The second you don't like drive it over, like if you drive over a rock and you're going anything other than absolutely idling, it will break all the stuff in the front end because it weighs 9,000 pounds.
Each ball joint has to deal with 2,250 pounds of force.
That's not going to work.
Resting.
That's not going to work.
Imagine what happens when you're off-roading and you concentrate a half of the vehicle's weight onto that.
Yeah, no, that's not going to work at all.
Wow.
Now you just have a big useless vehicle.
How about we crash the Hummer EV into a HRV?
Wow, that is a giant piece of shit.
I don't know which one of these I can pick.
I will say, the Hummer EV is very on brand.
True, that is true. Because
'Cause
the H1 was huge and useless.
Yep,
True.
and the H2 was
Huge and
similarly,
useless.
and then the H3 was small.
Damn it, Ryan! You
and
make
even
an
more
incredibly
useless.
good point.
This is on brand.
Fine.
This is exactly what a Hummer EV should be. It should be not an ounce less than 9,000 pounds.
And a Honda should not make an ascot out of the B-pillar.
Exactly.
All right,
think
HRV wins.
The HRV is the worst vehicle of the year 2022. Yes, congratulations. Be proud.
You definitely know how to sell me that one.
I cannot believe that Jana's sister bought one. Wow. She got the deal of a lifetime. Well, she bought one because she previously had a Optima.
Okay.
Yeah, it had been a giant sack of shit the entire time she owned it. And then the Kia boys came. And she goes, I need to get the fuck out of this right now. I'm like, you need to get the fuck out of this right now. And then
she made a worse decision.
No, she actually made a good decision because since she got out of that Optima, its value has cut itself into a third because of the Kia boys.
I do see a lot of Sonatas and Optimas with paper plates on them lately from those getting bought at buy here, pay here places.
Yep.
Because a lot of people got rid of them.
Yeah, everybody got out of them, including Julie. So that's good. Julie didn't ever even want it in the first place. So, but yeah, she got HRV, and then I haven't had the I haven't had the heart to tell her yet.
Oh, I thought you did tell her about this.
No.
Oh.
She doesn't listen. It's fine. I told her boyfriend, but I don't think he wants to tell her because I don't think he wants to go car
Well, at least you
shopping
could
again.
start dropping hints about maybe not having the HRV anymore.
She got a really bitchin' deal on it though.
Great, I hope so. You know?
Her deal's really good. She got it for $22,000, brand new.
Yeah, that's really cheap.
It was white on beige. It was bad. It was really bad looking. But it was
that's high school first car flex.
It was $4,000 off of the MSRP.
So Honda knew about the problem at that time too. Then
No, it was before that. I think it was just it had been a demo car for.
Oh wow! Okay.
For the manager or
Say
something.
no more.
So it had 3,000 miles on it.
Anytime you see demo in the title, you know it's a lemon.
But no, not even. It's just managers will take a car that they like and they'll just take it and use that as their drive around car.
Right.
So it was a demo. It just had 3,000 miles on it, I think, and that's how she got a screaming deal on it. It had been on the lot for 90 days. There's a glut of them in the system, so nobody's trying to deal or trade it. All they could do is just mark it down to nothing. So that's what they did.
Well, there's 300 in this exact spec with lower miles for the same price. So let's reduce the price.
Basically what they did. Yeah.
Right.
So anyway, moving on to the fattest L of the year of our Lord 2022. This is the single worst,
That's fine.
possibly dumbest car story that happened in the year.
Okay.
This is what really kind of sat with us over the course of 2022 of, wow, I can't believe that company actually did that. They really did this. They took the biggest stupid loss, and it is just a big fat sneaky L. Maybe they might have taken a gamble on something. That gamble didn't pay off.
Or they stuck with something they shouldn't have.
Maybe they stuck with something they shouldn't have. My choice will be Tesla and their stock price getting annihilated because of their dumbass CEO being on Twitter saying he's going to buy Twitter
And you'll hear a lot
then
of people
getting stuck buying Twitter.
Oh, the whole market's down. I'm like, they're not down as much as Tesla is.
No, Tesla is getting annihilated. It's really bad.
The only thing that will potentially save that company is, I hope they just split off their charging IP into a different company, or they get rid of Musk. Those two things, either one of them could help the company rebound.
They have to get rid of Musk.
But I mean,
they
it's the concrete galoshes of that company.
He's really, really holding that company back. Yeah.
Okay, so my pick, that was really good. I don't know if mine's going to win, but BMW finally deciding to give the U.S. market an M3 wagon and then giving us the single ugliest design that everyone seems to unanimously hate, and they still have not corrected in the mid-cycle refresh, even though it's a manual.
They still haven't updated that nose.
They have facelifted the car now, and it's still got the disgusting schnoz.
Fucking married to it.
They're sticking to it.
This is what I think is incredible. Will you look up 1995 Toyota Corolla UK?
Yes, I will.
All right. Now look at that car. Look how very different it looks.
This is the center. Oh, wow.
Yeah,
This one right here.
yeah. Well, just look at that. All right, now Control T. Open up another tab. 1995 Toyota Corolla, U.S. market.
I'm just going to say Corolla because we're Googling in the U.S.
Okay.
Oh, this is the Office Space car. This is the best car of all time.
Yes. So this is the 95 Corolla, U.S. market, the AE101 sedan, normal car.
Awesome car.
Now, look at the British version. Same car, same name, but they went, this is what the British market would like.
That
Is completely different in every way. I like the British version more.
Okay. Well, it's a hatch, which is
I know,
good.
that's why I like it more.
Also, it has decals on the side.
Yes, it's very cool.
I can't vote against the U.S. market. That's like the best, it's the most reliable car ever.
They're the same car. Just one's a 3-door hatch with a camback.
Yeah, but I don't like that.
I love the camback hatch.
Oh, I like the hatch. I don't like
Yes.
3 doors.
But anyway, you can get a
Then
5-door.
make that in a
You
five- okay.
can
Well,
get a
that's
5-door
fine
as
then.
well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
good,
so you can get that as a 5-door. So there is precedence for a company making the exact same car with significant changes per market.
The mirrors are the same.
Yes, it's the same mirrors, everything from the wheel well forward is the same between them.
Okay.
Why doesn't BMW just make literally the same fucking car? You don't need to change anything.
Seriously.
You need to change one piece of plastic.
You don't even have to re-crash test it. That's how minimal the change would be.
Yeah, no, it'd be the same thing. Like, the car literally would double in sales.
If they brought a current gen M3 wagon here, manual rear-wheel drive, which is the only way you can get a manual, or rear-wheel drive,
Yeah.
those platforms are married, with a face that looked like the F-Series, I might buy one of those.
Can you bring up a photo of the just 1959 DeSoto Fire Dome?
DeSoto Fire Dome. All right, images.
So,
You want a front, a rear, or
doesn't
a
matter.
quarter?
Any
Okay.
photo of this car.
All right.
This is Virgil Exner. I've mentioned him last episode about how he just totally lost his mind in the late 50s.
Yes.
And he made a huge gamble on having the biggest fins he could possibly get. Right as a recession happened, and big fins were no longer in vogue. And hey, that's it back to the 50s.
Yes, it is.
So what they did is in 1959, they went, we're going to have just the biggest fins you've ever seen in your entire fucking life on everything. Every single car, even a Plymouth is going to have them.
Can you imagine brushing the snow off the trunk of this thing?
Yeah, it's totally
Yeah,
insane.
nightmare.
Also, these cars, if snow fell on it, you wouldn't have to brush it off. It just rust through.
Oh, okay, good.
And be on
Good.
the ground
Perfect.
after that. Yeah, it's fine.
So you don't even
But
have
this
to.
is the thing.
Thank you, DeSoto.
They got hemorrhaged in sales for the 1959 model year
Why?
because there was a recession and nobody wanted big fins anymore.
Oh,
Because big
interesting.
fins was, this is how we got into a recession. Is everybody was too showy and they wanted too many gizmos.
It's a BMW X6.
Yes.
Got it.
So what they did is they went, oh my God, what are we going to do? And they took the man who made the giant fins, and now if you look up a 1962 Dodge Dart, 2 years later, he goes, okay, fine, I won't give you the big fins. I'll give you the worst thing you've ever seen from an unhealthy brain.
Oh, that's all right. My trackpad click and drag.
There you go. That's fine. That's fine. You just need you don't need a big photo of it.
No.
That's fine. That's enough. I don't need to see this car in higher resolution.
Oh.
They
So somebody
further
took a grill and flipped it upside down
Yeah,
and then pushed it
yes,
6 inches forward.
yes.
Okay.
Yep. And
Oh, the back is just as bad.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Oh.
He didn't do the fins because he heard, whoa, dude, don't do the fins, and then he just lost his mind. This is BMW. BMW went, hey, people aren't really liking the bangle design. And they went, what? They don't like the bangle design?
Oh, let's make the rest of them bangles.
Well, what are we gonna do? And they just their head exploded, and then they just Virgil Exner the whole fucking brand.
You know what they did? Is they loaded a copy of their design into MS Paint, and they saved it out as a JPEG, and they did that like 80 more times. And
Yeah.
they just let the computer, it's
Yeah.
like early AI looking for patterns. It's like, well,
Yeah, that's exactly what they did.
good enough.
And they just Virgil Exner the whole fucking brand. And so, would you believe me if I told you by 1964, when they fixed the design of the Dart, Dodge was back to having actual sales?
I would believe that.
Yes, because they made the car not look like that.
That's the 2023 nose of this car. And it's just,
I think that I think I might have to give this to BMW because this is the thing. The Tesla stock price thing has its simple fix. What we are seeing here,
This also has a simple fix.
this is the death of a
Look
brand.
at the rest of this. It looks fantastic.
Yes, but this is the thing is, I think, how many sales did they make of the wagon?
In Europe, it's probably selling great. I have no idea.
Yeah, but here it's probably not.
None.
Yeah, none. I think that they went, wow, we could fix this problem. They chose not to, and now they're going to pay the price. I bet that BMW in the long run is going to do worse because of this, because this is systemic of a larger issue. Whereas the Tesla thing is just like, get rid of Elon Musk and you're good.
Right.
BMW is just devoid of all talent at this point.
Everyone jumped ship because they saw the writing on the wall.
Yeah.
And like Tesla still has a bunch of good people, and that could get fixed if Musk leaves, or if Musk leaves.
I think I'm going to give this to BMW.
All right.
Yeah, BMW, absolutely.
Because you're right. I mean, it's leaked past one model now. It's their entire.
Yeah, no, this is leaked,
line.
and it's just a giant fucking problem. All right, so let's talk about some good things.
Good, please.
Good things are, what is the best automotive announcement of 2022? My vote is for Toyota selling so many GR Corollas in like the 5 minutes in 2022 that they were around that they had to up production.
That's like they didn't cap like the 5-minute sales window and they sold way too many.
Yeah, and now they're like, holy crap. And so for 2023, they're like cranking production for like through the roof.
Yes.
That's great news.
Yes,
that is
a tremendous
favorite
car.
news I've heard in a long time. That is the best internal combustion news I've heard.
I didn't even want to read mine because yours is better.
Yeah, I think that one just wins. What's yours?
The EV6 GT and the Ioniq 5N.
Yep, nope. It is the Corolla expanded production. That is the best news.
Corolla GR.
Yeah, specifically the GR.
The manual only, enthusiast only spec
yes.
of hopefully not the last.
That they made a little bit bigger than the Yaris for the American market, but it worked. They crushed it. They totally did the thing, and it's great.
I've still yet to hear a bad thing about the Corolla GR. So
all right, so we're gonna move out to our next award. This is the award that we are best known for. This is the Best Mirage of 2022 award. The Best Mirage award we're revising because the Mirage kept winning car of the year, and so we just gave it its own award.
the best Mirage of the year.
And sadly, 2022 will be the last year of the Mirage.
But it was still a year of the Mirage.
Yes, it was the year of the Mirage. However, this award moving forward will be what represents a Mirage. It has to be cheap. It has to be slow car fast. It has to be a new car and quote-unquote bad. But everybody that says it's bad is not driven one in anger. I have never seen anybody call a Mirage bad after driving it in anger.
Yeah, because you get that fiery little
They're
3-cylinder
very
noise,
fun.
and they're super light.
I'm telling you, the Mirage is a great car. You can just go to a dealership and test drive one.
Yeah,
like-
because you know they still have them in a lot. Absolutely.
Yeah, like you can just go there. That's what I did. Like you can just go there, give them a fake info,
And
give them a silly phone number.
They probably even have a stick on the lot.
Maybe doesn't matter though, because even with the CVT, you're still getting the road noise, you're still getting the vibrations, you're still getting the feeling of
but
driving a
you're
car.
not-
You're getting a car that's meant to drive 45 miles an hour at 80.
Wringing
Yes.
the neck at that little 3-cylinder
Yeah,
quite
the,
effectively.
The 5-speed makes it much better.
Also, screw the sedan. Don't buy a sedan.
So for 2022, I am giving the 2022 Best Mirage Award to the Mirage.
I also had the Mirage listed.
Wow!
So I guess the Mirage wins.
Yay! Good job, Mirage. You won again. Congratulations. Everybody should buy one. I'm not lying.
No,
Just go buy
especially
one.
because they're discontinued now, and you will be able to get a deal on
Yes.
one that's sitting. Oh, and the car market crashed, so like you can get
I
money
was
on the hood.
Trying very hard to buy one the last year, but I could not find a yellow manual because I found out they were discontinuing them.
Well, even when you were looking at the Spark after we did a piece
Yeah.
on it, we're like, oh, they discontinued those midway through the year. It's like, yeah, you couldn't find the spec you'd want.
Yeah, I wanted the spec. Like with the Spark, like I would absolutely buy a red manual crank window Spark with the color matched wheels. Yes,
Damn right.
absolutely. Yeah.
My pick for the best car that was discontinued in 2022, and I had to look at a few websites
We
to
should
find
say
all this kind of stuff.
our next award is
Oh,
the
sorry.
best car that was discontinued
I'm sorry.
in the year of 2022.
I thought we were on that.
No, it's okay. I just needed to announce it. And yes, mine is the Chevy Spark.
With the red wheels?
With the red wheels. You just can't even get a Chevy Spark anymore. You could even get, they made a, not quite a CUV out of one, where they just put some plastic moldings over it.
Yeah. But it was still a Spark.
It's still a Spark. And it looked cooler then. Cool, you could still get it with crank windows and color matched wheels.
And a manual.
You didn't even have to color match the wheels to the color of the car.
Oh, God. I
You
want a
could get
yellow
a
one with red wheels.
Yes, you can get a blue car with red wheels. You could option that.
I could get a blue car with yellow wheels and support the Ukraine.
Yes, that would be actually a very cool choice. It would be very based.
Like Adidas.
Very cool.
I chose the BMW i3, which I also didn't know was still in production. What a tremendous car that was completely left to die on the vine, just like the Fiat 500.
I'm more upset about that than I am the Spark. I feel like if the Spark won an award, it would like detract from the Spark, because the Spark does well in being like the underdog.
Also, it was, well, did that outlast the Mirage, or it's got to be
No,
close.
the Mirage outlasted it.
Damn it.
So,
I was going to say, that car did, being the cheap, slow car, fast, engaging driving experience value, better than the Mirage, only if it lasted longer than the Mirage, which it didn't.
It didn't. No, it was like not quite a Mirage.
Damn.
But that's the thing. That's what makes it so good. Like, this is even better.
People know about the Mirage. Nobody knows
Nobody
about
knows
the Spark.
about. Like, that's the hipster's Mirage.
Found out I have a coworker with a Spark.
Wow.
Just got hired. It's a
is it-
5-door and it's a CVT.
Oh man.
I know.
You know, they were only 5-door, which was good. You
Oh,
like that.
good.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you can get. I really want
Ooh.
to get. I want to get LT with crank windows and color match wheels. Like,
Spark might win then,
You
because the
could-
i3
you could-
was, it is a 4-door though.
actually, you know what you could do? You could also get like the sporty Tupperware like bodywork on the bottom of it. Like you could get
That option needs to be called Sporty Tupperware.
That's what everybody calls the body kits for NB Miatas that you get from the factory. Tupperware.
So good. Oh, yeah, like the TRD stick-on skirts and all that kind of crap.
Tupperware.
Just Sporty Tupperware. If that was an option box, I would tick it every
Yes.
time.
But it was, yeah, you could get like the sporty Tupperware like lower bodywork stuff on the base model with crank windows. Like I could make a crank window car cost $20,000.
Oh, yes.
Just from throwing every option in the world. Like you can
I
get,
like that it doesn't auto-upgrade to certain packages.
No, absolutely not. No, you could get like you can get crank windows, you can get like LED floor lighting, puddle lights,
Leather seats, probably.
Like, no, you can't get leather seats, but you could get WeatherTech floor mats with your LED lighting, so you can get LED lights to look at your dirty floor mats.
Perfect.
Yeah, I know, right?
That is what happens, though. I've
Yeah,
got like
that's
the
exactly
ambient
what it is
lighting
there.
in my car. I'm like, ooh, that's floor mat dirty.
Yeah, that's exactly what it does. And you get like the upgraded stereo, so you get like navigation and like a subwoofer. It takes up half your trunk. And still have crank windows. Don't worry. I love that so much. Like more manufacturers. It was also sadly the last car that had a crank window in it
In this country.
in this country. Yeah, that was the biggest bummer for me. I'm really sad that I am so bummed that I found out that you can get that with crank windows. Like the year they're being discontinued. I would have.
We talked about it recently.
I would have bought that new over the Fiat.
If you'd known about it.
If I had known about that when I bought the Fiat in 2020, absolutely would have bought a crank window car. Because I hate power windows.
And you know they would have been on the lot, so.
Fuck. Man.
Whoops. I think we have to give it to the Spark. There are still other cars out there that
You
are
know
as
what?
good
That
as
car
the
that car
EV.
really has never won anything in its life, and it deserves an award. So the Chevy Spark was the best car discontinued in the year 2022.
Talk about a pair of cars that we recently didn't think about and didn't realize were still in production.
Yeah, and they're just like they were wonderful. I loved them. So
Oh, man.
we've come to the end. We've come to
Of the Modies.
the best new car of 2022.
Had to Google this
For
one, too.
me, my choice, there was a lot of good stuff in 2022. That GR Corolla was really great. But I have to give it to the one vehicle I never thought I would see in America. The vehicle that I've always said, man, I really think we need more of these. I want a small truck. And the award for me
Is that
would
the
go to...
mini Ram 600 we never got?
No, it would be the Ford Maverick.
Okay.
I want the tiniest pickup truck that I can buy in the country. I don't care that it doesn't have a manual option. It's the fact that it is a tiny two-wheel drive, front-wheel drive, mind you,
I
pickup
think
truck.
you can get it without wheel drive, can't you?
You can, but the base model is two-wheel drive. And I saw a base model Maverick, and you know how I feel about like a cool car as a car brings me joy.
Oh yeah, base model Mavericks have like Steelies and shit.
Yes, it's Steelies and unpainted mirrors, and I got very excited when I saw base model Maverick yesterday. So the base model Maverick is absolutely my choice for the best new car 2022. Jana's dad was actually on the wait list for one.
He should be.
And he bought a Hyundai Santa Cruz because the wait list was 6 months and growing. And
yeah, they're as hard to get as Broncos. Like
yes,
big Broncos.
Yes. And so he ended up buying a Santa Cruz. He hates the Santa Cruz. It's been nothing but Hyundai problems. I'm like,
no.
oh yeah, no, that sounds like Hyundai. Like,
is it GDI?
yeah, and it's just like one recall after another. It's having transmission problems again. Like every truck he has transmission problems. I don't understand it. But like, it's truly incredible. It's like
you can get the Maverick as a, I don't know if it's a plug-in, but you can get it as a hybrid.
That's
that
good.
might be more reliable.
Maybe. I don't know.
I mean, it won't have a power shift.
Yeah, that's good. Well, I don't think they make them anymore.
I know. After that litigation, I doubt they make that
They
still.
better not. I hope the guy at Meta is also fired and never working in cars ever again. But yeah, no, the Ford Maverick. It's just like it does what it does so well, and I can't like. That's the car that everybody asked for, and they gave it to us, and it's selling like hotcakes. Like even if it doesn't have a manual, like fuck, like whatever, dude. Like overall, this checks so many more boxes for the rest of the country, and it is not a crossover, and it does things better.
Well,
Like,
it's finally too like they gave us what we asked for, but they didn't put it into some absurd trim level that nobody can afford. Like you can just go buy a base one and it's cheap.
yeah, you can get a cheap workhorse truck that's front wheel drive. Like that's fine. I would be getting one if it was like a little bit smaller, could fit in my driveway.
Well, I picked the Hyundai Ioniq 6 because this is the first car to go into production that actually focuses on the problem, which is efficiency. It's not adding a bigger battery to a car. It's making it more aerodynamic and putting more efficient motors in
And
it.
it does look like the tits.
I was a little on the fence when it first came out. I really like it.
Yeah, it looks really good.
It's a very attractive car.
They made that like slopey roof line that I hate actually work by giving it a good rear end.
But
It didn't like the rear end didn't fizzle out like it did on like the
no,
CLS.
the CLS.
Yeah, no, they actually gave it like a rear end. It goes, yes, that's a rear end.
If you get one in black, it's just like,
very
ooh, ooh. And they're going to give us an N version of that at some point too, so...
Yes.
I don't know. You make some some good arguments for the
My
Maverick.
thing is the Maverick proves that you do not need a Ford F-1000 to have a functional truck.
I loathe pickup trucks, and you can attest to this. So
Yes.
yeah, the Ford. I would rather.
I
would
want
so much rather somebody buy a Maverick than an F-150.
I want the Maverick to eat every full-size truck's lunch.
Maverick it is.
Ah, Maverick, run! Yes! Ah! Best new car of 2022.
Isn't a car at all.
It's not a car. That will be going on our wall of cool cars.
Oh.
Yay! I'm very happy.
Oh man.
All right, so
I'm gonna find one with steels then and put it on there.
no, I would have it no other way.
Good.
I would be remiss if it had anything other than steel wheels.
Okay.
So,
All right.
moving on.
Off Modie's for 2022 are complete.
2022, yes. Now we're going to talk about our bear and bull market list. Now,
Yes.
we have always been doing this. We take our top 5 buys and sells of the year and top 2 holds. I call it bear bull market list because a bear market is a market that's like going down. It's something you don't want to be in. That's what our stock market is now. That's what the crypto winter is. It's not good. A bull market is when markets are overall rising. Things are selling like hotcakes. You're always making money. Bull markets are good. Actually, to the smart person, both are good, and they both have a purpose. A bear market is buying time. A bull market is selling time.
Correct. And we just talked about a car last episode, and I cannot remember what it was, but I was going to add it to my list.
Ermshire.
Oh, yeah.
The Ermshire Aska.
But my category kind of already contains that, so we'll get into it.
Yes. So, my top buys right now. First one, 1950s cars.
Okay.
50s Americana. With the exception of Tri-5s and C1 Corvettes. And
That's what we've talked
Thunderbirds.
about, because I'm like, we've looked at a bunch of like really interesting, really affordable cars that like the Rambler wagon.
yeah,
It's like
lots of really very good 50s cars.
just escape depreciation.
Yeah, and like they either you're gonna get something like a Rambler where it'll forever be the same price, or you're gonna get a car that cost a boomer 6 figures, and it is not a 6-figure car anymore. Nope, it is depreciating. It is. I would say some of these are fully depreciated at this point. Big fin Mopars are something that you're not gonna be able to get because those actually Those, it was very strange. Boomers never appreciated them. Like
You're talking about like a Polara?
No, I'm talking like the Christine car,
Oh, okay.
like
oh,
the
okay.
Plymouth Fury,
Sure.
stuff like that. Where like the cars that I just mentioned last episode, where like Virgil Exner lost his mind and made a huge gamble on giant fins right as a recession hit and like almost tanked the company.
Yeah, I do recall that.
Yes, but like the ones that aren't that would be great to buy. Like Kaiser Manhattans are great.
Hold on. I have to Google that
I
one.
hit you with a weird one.
Oh, okay.
Sedan-
okay. That just looks like
sedan
a
only.
weird shoebox with skirted wheels.
Yeah, sedan only,
that's good.
manual only,
Oh.
flathead only.
Oh, God.
Yep, that's a good car. It looks good.
Well, you and I disagree on that.
Well,
but
for a 50s car, I think it looks pretty cool. For a
I'm
50s
sure.
car.
It looks like a 50s car.
Yeah, it's a 50s car.
I'm not even
But,
going to blow
like,
this up.
You can also get like MGs of that era. Or you can get that look like pre-war cars. They're not.
I was itching for it.
But they have the same look. You can get those. You can get 50s Fiats. Like, there's a lot of cool stuff in the 50s.
You can get like 50s Datsuns and stuff like that pretty cheap too.
Yeah. Like, you can get lots of things from the 50s that just either have gone undiscovered and are beginning to appreciate, or things that have completely fallen off of a cliff and they are now at their bottom. Because now the thing is like, millennials can buy cars. A lot of millennials don't know how to drive a manual. A lot of millennials don't give a shit about sports cars. You know what that's perfect for? A 1950s automatic land yacht with 2 automatic transmission speeds. Like, that is perfect for most people.
As long as they don't skip leg day
yeah, like
for the single circuit master.
yeah, and so that's one of those cars where it's like they're absolutely comfortable. You're gonna enjoy it. Like, you can fix it with a hammer. They're gonna be reliable.
And it's not a daily driver.
Exactly. And as I said with the big fin Mopar cars, they're appreciating. So some are actually gaining value, while others are just stagnant. And the ones that are stagnant are the ones that I would be all over right now. So yeah, like Kaiser Manhattans, like Y-block Fords, which were like the not flathead cars, like the early Ford mainlines,
Right.
Random Buicks,
Late 50s.
yeah,
stuff.
things that aren't Mopar, things that aren't Cadillac, things that aren't Tri-5 Chevys.
Well, even the Rambler. I mean, that
Yeah, the
wagon
Rambler,
we
yeah.
talked about a couple weeks
Yeah.
ago. It's like that car was like a good one was like $5-6 grand.
Yeah, like the best Rambler in the world is like I think like for like a number one Concours d'Elegance, like if you wanted the world's greatest Rambler, you might possibly crack $10,000.
I think we saw that we're somewhere in like the 10 to 15 range, but they
Yeah.
were very nice cars.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, you might crack the 10 grand mark, like for a Concours car. Right. So yeah, 50s cars, absolutely. What would be your first pick for top buy?
Oh, I had to click away. Hold on.
That's okay.
Where am I? Oh, okay. I said
We're just gonna go back and forth. for our top five.
93 to 05 Honda products with a manual transmission.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not even going to specify
I think I
because
actually,
they're all really good. You did. You had like.
actually, funny enough, I actually have Golden Age Civics on my hold list, but I will explain
Okay.
that later.
Yeah. There it is. Golden Age. Civics.
However, not Civics, very good buys.
I'm just not even talking about Civics. Yeah, like
Yeah,
we
no,
just talked about the
overall
Element,
Hondas,
like
like-
Accords CRVs with sticks, like first gen CRVs with sticks are
They-
awesome.
There's also a glut of, because that was like the peak of Honda. There's a glut of weird Hondas that nobody's heard about that have Mugen variants. Like
Of course.
Honda Inspires, Honda Ortheas. Like, there's really strange Hondas that are out there.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like Canadian market cars. Like,
Which are all legal to bring in now too.
yeah,
which is
so
like,
did
why
you know
not?
there was a Acura version of an EK Civic
Yes.
in Canada? The
Yeah.
Acura
Oh,
EL. Very good.
weird.
Very good.
And
car.
they did those for a couple generations
Yes,
too.
they did. They still do, actually.
Okay. Oh, I didn't know.
They actually brought them here now. That's what the ILX or whatever it is.
Sure.
Yeah, the base model Acura is.
I remember seeing like a 9th gen Civic version of that in Canada. I'm like,
Yeah, they're very cool. So,
this has
yeah,
leather
I agree. I
seats.
think manual 93 to 05. I would actually say manual 89 to 05.
Sure.
Because the 89 to 91 era was arguably Honda at its peak across the board. They
just
could be
haven't
no
driven one of those. That's why I didn't go that far back.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, if you look at, like, the Prelude was great. The Accord was great. The Civic, they didn't have a bad car back then. Even the Legend was incredible back then.
Even though it had that.
With a weird V6.
Yeah.
But, Yeah,
And
no,
a
I
5.
I think you're right about that. Honda products, very good. Also, CD Accord V6 5-speed you could get.
Those are
with
fast.
the one generation only Orphan V6 that fits nothing else.
That kind of reminds me of the ES250 and the Camry.
Yes, ooh, that's a good
V6
car.
25 V6 25 Camry, as it was a second gen Camry.
Yeah,
Damn.
really good.
Damn.
Yeah,
I mean,
second gen V6.
those
Camry.
cars, the Accord too. Like the V6 manual Accords back in the day were so bloody fast.
I'll let you know that collectively every single person at Bring a Trailer is looking for a V20 V6 wagon.
Oh yeah, but they're all rusted to shit.
Yeah, they're every single person at Bring a Trailer wants one for a daily. Like that's a perfect classic car. I'm like, fucking A, right? That's
Keep a
perfect-
timing belt in it, it'll be fine.
Yeah, it'll be a perfect classic car.
God,
All right,
those are
so
good. We should add those to the list.
I'm gonna say front engine V12 Ferraris.
You're skipping Pieros?
Oh, my bad. I will get to those in a second.
Okay.
But front engine V12 Ferraris.
Yeah.
Specifically the 456.
And specifically imported 456s.
Look at if you go on branchtrailer.com or Bring Trailer and you look at their graph, the 456, it's like
A guy next door just imported one from the UAE last year,
Yeah.
and it was cheap. I mean,
but they're really
I know it was the first car to have the new V12 too, so it's like,
I don't have any intention to ever want one of these. I'm not a fan of them. But I will say, if you are looking for an Italian GT,
if you want a 550, a 575, or a 612 and you can't afford it, please go get a 456 with a stick.
V12 Ferrari front engine car is a very good buy. You will be extremely right side up when you're done.
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah, they are
Even
going,
with service costs, I'm
Yeah,
sure
yeah,
it'll still be
they're
up.
going bananas, and they're very undervalued for what they are. Because like a 456 looks like a C5 Corvette.
We've talked. Yeah, it's the Italian C5.
It's an Italian C5. I hate them, but I'm coming around to them. I still hate them. But yeah,
Nolan wants one of those.
he should want one of those. They're very good cars. I just personally have a thing.
Yeah, I would.
But I also I admit when I personally have a thing versus like I personally have a thing with Porsche. I don't want anything in Porsche. I don't like them.
I have a
And
thing for 4-seat, like depreciation monster V12 Ferraris. Like I would love a 612 Scaglietti or an FF.
I would absolutely 100% want a 400i. Unfortunately, they're appreciating, and I hate that.
Yeah,
And they've left
at
affordability.
least you could buy those from the factory with a stick, whereas I would have to manual swap an FF for a
This is the
612.
thing. I would want the 400i with the TH400 in it, and the reason I would is so then I could sit there next to somebody. It'd be much slower, and it would make a longer V12 noise. For them.
Okay.
That's why. Because I'm not going to fool myself into saying that this is a sports
I
car. It's fun
cannot
to
even
drive.
imagine hearing a V12 through that 1-2 shift on a TH400.
Oh yeah,
It'd be like,
so strange.
oh god,
It'd be very bad. But this is the thing: is that car would exist to bring other people joy and to bring me comfort.
Okay.
I'd drive that car smoking a cigarette. It'd be fine.
all right.
I would smoke a cigarette in a suit driving that car. That's what that car is. It's a car
At
made
least-
for comfort.
It's a torque converter auto.
Yes. Anyway.
All
so,
right. My
let's-
number 2,
Yes.
E46 4-door manual. No other qualifications.
Yeah. No, those are the last cheap, good BMW 3 Series.
Go
Yeah.
get like an 01 or an 02 325 sport pack with a stick. Like,
I don't think the E90 is ever going to be cheap because they became a known quantity.
the
immediately.
M3s for sure are never going to get cheap.
And even the normal ones aren't. Because like
a
even
nice one, yeah.
even a manual all-wheel drive like E90 whatever is just like they never became actually cheap like E46s did.
Yeah, you could never pick up a running driving E90 manual for $1,000.
No, you couldn't. Like, but E46s there's a very brief moment in time on which you could.
And like you can still find really well loved ones with a ton of miles that are in fantastic condition. And like seriously, get the small engine with the terrible Getrag 5-speed. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, no, they're
Like,
they're all good.
Getting the same interior, getting similar steering, like it's the experience, it's how well made they are, and they're attractive. I mean, the styling I think is aged really well on those.
They were
cars.
the best selling cars in England when they were new.
I
And
believe
it made sense. Like they're just a perfect car.
But, like really good, really cheap. Ta-da!
Yeah, perfect car. I'm gonna say the Mitsubishi Pajero and Montero, and the reason for that is I added a link because I need you to see how comically
I
cheap
see
these
there
are.
is a blue in here.
Yeah, like I needed you to understand this. Like Eric, I think you should invest in this. Look at the prices on these.
So the best one ever sold for 46,000, but they are
And that's
clustered
an
around
Evo.
the 10.
And that's an Evo for that matter.
Oh my god! Oh, look at this, $9,000 for this guy. Turbo diesel 4x4.
Why is that cheap?
Oh, it's an auto.
Yeah, there's a very high automatic take rate, but still, compare that to the equivalent Land Cruiser. That's a third the price of an equivalent Land Cruiser for the same thing. Because you could get a turbo diesel automatic Land Cruiser.
Well, I remember driving. Was it Taylor who had one of these?
Yeah,
Yeah, I remember
yeah,
driving.
he had the 3-door, but like, great vehicles. Holy crap!
I mean, this is back to that category. Like, if it's still here on this planet, it's a nice one.
Yes,
Because
there's
all
no
the
bad ones
garbage
left.
ones are gone.
Yeah.
All the winter beater ones rusted. And
Oh yeah, they're all good, and they're all like, why is this cheap?
That's a good point, because SUVs are so popular and retro stuff is so popular.
Have you seen how expensive Land Cruisers are? You cannot get into you cannot get into a functional Land Cruiser for under $10,000.
It's ridiculous.
And that's a FJ40 with a hole in the floor.
Even like look at Forerunners, look at GXs,
What?
all of that stuff. You look at it, like, are you insane?
And then this what?
This is a manual turbo diesel. It's $14,000. It's like perfect.
Yeah, that I think
50,000
I wrote that one,
miles.
actually. Yes, I did write that one. That one has a bunch of really good modifications on it. Like that's ready to go. Like you can go take that to Moab. Like right here, right now, you can go live in it if you need. Like it has every good modification to it. A bunch of like quality of life stuff.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Super clean.
Yeah, it's a perfect. Like that is literally the best Payero I've ever seen.
I mean, I'm not a truck guy, but that is like, why is that cheap? And a Forerunner isn't.
That's what I'm saying. Like, there's no reason
If
that
I
this
was-
should be a penny under $10,000.
Only vehicles I've ever lost money on have been manual Toyota SUVs. So like, I'm done with SUVs. But like, I would never in 1,000 years consider paying the same or similar amount of money for one of those
When this
as something
exists.
like that. Like, this is like, you can't afford a G class. Well, just get that then.
Yeah, I would get this over a G class because the G class is worth so much money. I'm afraid to use
The world's shittiest automatic 2002 G500 is $30,000 now.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying.
This is half the price.
$10,000. Like this is the best one, and it's 15. They're going for 5 to 8 all day on Bring a Trailer, and so I'm like, for my next car, like if I can get into one, like I'm going to get a Payero Junior because it's exactly what I need. Is I need a K SUV.
They sold this gen with a stick?
Yeah.
What the
They
hell?
all came with sticks.
Wow. Clutch and transfer case replaced in 2022.
Like,
They must have just all been used up.
yeah. I don't get how these are this cheap. There's
So
no reason a Payero should be at all reasonably priced compared to everything else in the world.
24 valve V6 too.
Yeah.
Wow. I don't get it.
It doesn't make any sense to me.
I mean, they can't be that bad.
No, they're great.
Limited slip diff.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, this is like, the thing is, the Payero only existed in the United States when Mitsubishi was at its peak. That was like one of the first things they killed was the Montero. And they had the Montero Sport in the 2000s, which was like meh. That's literally the one I want.
Oh my god, it's tiny.
That's a K. It's the K.
1.1 liter 4-cylinder.
All right, so check this out. The Payero Junior is actually the perfect one because this is actually the K truck,
That's awesome.
but they put a 1.1 in it instead of a 600.
Oh, so this thing's a
Yeah.
hot rod.
Yeah, that's how it's got the wide body on it. If you look,
I saw it. I saw the box flares.
It's got a wide body because it's got 1.1 on it. So I'm like, that's a perfect truck. So this will go like,
This was $9,200.
yeah, in that spec. I
And
want that.
it's got a fender mirror, so I'm sold.
Yeah, it's really good. And that's what I was like, and this one would go like comfortably at about 90 miles an hour.
That's plenty.
That's where it peaks. That's where it tops out. But
This
it's
has
like
30,000 miles on it.
it's not like
It's a new vehicle.
Yeah, it's not like a you're gonna die 90 miles an hour. It's like this is 90 miles an hour.
That's
in a
all the
small
engine will
vehicle.
do.
Yeah, I'm limited by the engine, and like the 600cc one, like it runs out of puff at about 65. So like the Pyro Mini, like it's still reasonable, but the Pyro Mini isn't as usable. on highways. So the Junior is a perfect one. It's cheap. It's the size of a shoe. I can park it in my driveway the same way I would the Fit. And if I had one, I would put a tiny plow on it so I could plow the sidewalk in front of my house.
Does it have a 2-speed transfer case?
Yes, it does.
Very good.
It has all the stuff of a normal
Well,
Pyro.
I assume it's off-road ready.
It's
if
just
a
very
Pyro.
small. That was the competitor to Jimny.
Oh, yes. Oh, that's true. It's basically a Jimny for free.
Yeah, it's a free Jimny. It costs like half the price. It doesn't come with a convertible, which sucks. But like,
oh, that is kind of shitty.
I know,
But you probably don't want that on an old vehicle anyway.
no, I'm okay with it. Like, as long as I have air conditioning and a sunroof, I'll be fine.
Did
like,
those? Yeah, okay. Do the right-hand drive ones, are those all from Japan, so the stocks are
Yes.
the wrong way around?
Yeah, they're all from Japan.
Damn it.
No, they're fine. You get used to it pretty quickly.
Well, you're probably right.
It took me when I drove Hips POW for the first time. It took me about 3 blocks to figure it out.
It's probably the same as getting used to right-hand drive. It's pretty quick.
I got used to that right-hand drive before I got out of the parking lot. And I was 3 blocks away before I stopped hitting the wipers. So
Gotcha.
it was fine.
I was driving TJ's Ute around. It took me a bit.
Yeah, it doesn't take too long.
All right, what's next on my list? Oh, okay. S60R and V70R. So I'm talking the 04 and up ones.
I drove an S60. It is entirely too fast, and I kind of hate it.
They are really laggy. The transmissions are kind of mediocre.
It was the automatic, also.
Oh,
it was.
well.
I kind of hated it a lot. Also, it was a giant sack of shit. It was my friend Kyle's.
They're not particularly well made, but
No.
I love how they look. They're actually reliable for whatever
Yeah, no,
reason.
Kyle's had like 500,000 miles on it. It was the highest mile vehicle I've ever driven in my life, I think.
And they have a Spaceball. Like, I understand that they're not great, but like they have a serious enthusiast following, but they haven't gone up in price yet.
You know, Leslie Norberg had one in high school.
Really?
And I was a passenger in hers, and that was pretty fun.
We
I guess the V's,
almost bought a V70R.
The V's I like more than the S's.
Oh, yeah. But I have to group them together because they're the same car.
Yeah.
We almost bought a V70R in blue with a like natural hide color interior instead of the 335i back in the day.
That would have been a very different life experience for you.
Yes.
You would have become a different person.
No, we were still BMW people at the time, but
No, but I mean, like, that's one of those things where it's like,
the nav was so bad.
like, it's one of those things where it would change your life outlook at that point. Like,
Yeah.
for me, like, I'm much more accepting of Korean cars because my parents owned Hyundai in the 90s, and they were fine. They were just Mitsubishis. That's all they were. So,
Yep. No, it didn't happen, but I still really like those. I could totally be wrong, but like they're not expensive yet, and they tick all the boxes. So I do think those will appreciate.
so I was right about XJs last year.
Yes, you were.
Yep. And now this year is going to be the XK8 XKR
Okay.
because they are very cheap.
I have seen a couple XK8s, and I'm like, oh,
What,
well.
can you just like bring them up and bring a trailer so people can see? Because this is a car where I need to demonstrate this. Like, vehicles that are highly underrated. Because this is the same Ford 4.2.
Yep, it's got the
V8.
same known issues.
Yeah, once you get them fixed, it's
Hey,
a totally
there's
good
even one
vehicle.
for sale right now.
Yeah, I bet there is.
Let's take one that's middle of the road.
But if you
here.
look at here before we do that, look at the graph.
Oh,
It's all right.
shit.
We're here now.
There we go. All right.
But if you look at that graph,
15 is kind of the
yeah, but look at what direction it's going.
Oh, yeah.
They're going up. I'm
But
telling you,
there's also some cheaper ones happening.
the cheaper ones are ones with problems. You get one without problems. Well, actually, if you get one with problems,
$6,000.
if you get one with problems, it's a gamble because you really have to consider the history of the vehicle. Jaguar people are very picky because there's a lot of them that exist,
Sure.
and you can afford to be picky. So if you have a Jaguar that's got 100,000 miles on it, even if you did the timing chains, it's going to be a cheap car forever.
Yeah.
And also, if it's ever had any sort of anything happen on its Carfax, for any reason, it's going to be a cheap car. It doesn't need to be a crash. It could be any sort of thing on the Carfax.
The oil was serviced at a non-independent Jaguar facility.
Yeah, exactly. Like, if it had any sort of weird thing happen in its life, it will be very cheap.
So this is 22,000 miles, and it sold for $11,000.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, no, that's a screaming deal. And what does it say for the Carfax? It'll be the very last
Carfax
sentence.
report,
Does it say clean?
clean Carfax,
That's fine.
and a clean title.
Perfect. That's what you want. It's a really good car. A lot of
It
them,
is new.
a lot of them are terribly represented by sellers, so they are not putting in any effort into selling
How
them.
many doors are open and how many trash cans are in the
Every
background?
single one. And
This
if
one even has like drive videos. Wow.
Yeah, like they're really, really good cars. And you know what they are? Like actually to drive? Wonderful. They're absolutely wonderful to drive. Like the XKR is actually a really good GT sports car.
I believe
Like
that.
it's actually fast.
Yeah.
It is like 400 horsepower.
Thereabouts.
Yeah, like an XKR, like that's an actually very good vehicle. An XK8, if you want to get to a cheap GT car that's going to put a smile on your face, XK8 done. Like you're going to enjoy it.
Do they have like convertible top issues or anything?
Yes,
Okay.
every single one does.
Okay.
But that's the thing is you just get one. The thing is
You get one that's had chains done and make sure all the are they electric or are they hydraulic tops?
electro-hydraulic.
Oh, okay. So you get all the
Yeah, all the problems.
Are
But
they-
but this is the thing now. They're very well maintained.
yeah, I could
Like
see that.
if you get one that's like obviously you have to do your research on them.
Yeah, but it's like buying an SL of the same era.
It's much easier to find a well maintained XK8 than it is to find a well maintained 129.
True. Yeah, I could see that.
Like they had a similar amount of maintenance that they require, but the XK8s, like the only people that bought them were rich old white people, and they're great. Like they're really, really good cars. Like, I cannot stress enough how fucking good 2000s Jaguars are. Like I would,
How good they can be.
yes, but like,
'Cause you do have to know a little bit, but yeah, as long as you make an educated decision.
but like, I just like I would have such a hard time recommending a Mercedes from that era when Jaguar exists.
Well, I mean, they're gonna have the same issues, yeah.
And-
Which is why the 129 isn't on my list.
Yeah, and also like if I'm looking at like a R, what's the one after the one time the
230.
the R230. If I'm looking at R230 SL versus a XKR all day long, I would totally do XKR.
It would really depend on the 230.
I'd say XKR because the 230s are always basket cases.
No, they're mechanically so good, but the tops in the first year
That's
and a
what I
half
mean.
of production.
And then you have the ABC suspension, which is just a
yeah, on some of them.
but this is the thing is Jaguar air suspension compared to ABC much better.
Oh yeah, well, any
ABC was garbage.
Wish.com airlift is better than
But,
ABC.
CATS, computer active technology suspension.
Plus, I mean the name.
The name cats. Yeah, there's so many cats everywhere in the car.
No, I get it.
They just hide cats. Everywhere they can put a cat, they put one.
I just spent 4 days with the Ipache, and I was like, I like that it's a cat.
It's great. Like it's a wonderful vehicle.
But there are some things about every Jag product that are like, I cannot believe they did this.
It's a Jag.
I know that's what makes it a Jag.
It's a
It's
Jag. Like they're wonderful vehicles.
That's totally fair.
I absolutely need one in my life at some point. I-
yeah, but I mean, you have to get it while the getting's good.
Not today, but the thing is, like, they still make like cars that are good. The ones I really like my favorite ones are the worst ones. The AJ40s, the early 90s.
Oh, like a Vandenpla. Oh yeah. XJ6 Vandenpla.
Yeah.
And again, like you know what to look for, and you know what
I
it's
do.
gonna take. So
Yes.
you will be able to buy one of those basket cases.
I will totally be able to find a basket case one that
but
looks
the
like a basket
right
case.
kind of basket.
Yeah,
case
the one that looks like
that
it's
can be mended.
the one that looks like it is. The guy who just put in like $40,000 into a 70,000 mile like 93 XJ
4.2.
yeah 4.2 or 4 liter. No, it's not even the 4.2. It's just a 4 liter inline six because Jag made their own 4 liter inline six right before Ford bought them out, and then Ford promptly discontinued it because it was a giant sack of shit.
I thought the last of the straight six was a 4.2. Is it just a 4
No, it
liter?
was just a 4 liter.
Oh, okay.
They went to a just 4 liter. It had like this like weird like squared off like valve cover. It looked like it was like front. It was like the E36 of like.
Is that before they took it and made it good for the DB7?
Yeah, exactly. It was literally that. I think it was actually the same engine, but
I think so too. It's comically large. It's like
Yes.
it's like a wartime airplane.
Yeah.
It looks like an Aero engine.
yeah,
It's so
it's
big.
so big. Like it's just they're so silly. I love Jaguars. So everybody, yeah, Jaguar. And I'm not saying like I love Jaguars because I love Jaguars. It's not like as a joke. It's just like as a product and B the price point. It doesn't make sense. Like why everybody's so gung ho about like 90s Mercedes when, fuck, like they were kind of having their ass kicked.
I get it, but that's like why is a Boxster S the same price as a Z3? And there's always a reason.
Well, yes.
But it's not necessarily a great reason, because the answer is you have to know what you're doing to buy this car.
That is true. However, with a Boxster S, you have to look at the Boxster S. You get to look at an XKR.
I don't think the...
Look up at XKR versus the XK8. The XKR...
It's still got the same taillights.
When you have the BBS wheels, you have the Brembo brakes.
I get it, but it's still the same body.
The later era where they started putting LED brake lights on it, like, shit, that looks really good.
There's a 01 XKR copy image. It looks fine. It's aged well.
I think this is aged very well for what's on the screen.
Oh, sorry.
Yes, that's aged very well. That looks fucking good. I love that. I don't like giant wheels.
Oh, I do.
I hate giant wheels. I love that.
But do I get that, or do I get like an SL 600 Silver Arrow? I'm gonna go SL 600 Silver Arrow.
Take this over the
That's
Silver
fine.
Arrow.
I'm glad that both markets have cars.
But this is the thing: is I would take it because of the price.
They're the same price.
If they were the exact same price,
Yeah. SL 600s are worth nothing.
Okay, yeah, SL 600 Silver Arrow, yes. 500 Silver Arrow. This.
Well, I'd take the 500 because that's actually reliable. It doesn't need chains.
It's gonna have wiring harness.
And no,
It's gonna have
those are all done now.
water-based paint.
Well, yeah.
It's gonna have
but
a
the
top.
SLs never got driven. If the top's
gonna have
currently
the
working,
top.
it's fine. Again, you have to know what you're doing to buy either of those cars. Anyway, that's enough of that. All right, what's next on the list here? F430. And I'm only saying that because you can still get an F430.
They're cheap.
For like $90,000 if you know what you're doing.
They are cheap.
And manual swaps are now a thing.
Yes.
And if you manual swap a 430, that is a damn good car.
I don't like anything about the 430,
Super ugly.
but
It sounds bad, but they're pretty good to drive and they're really reliable. So if you want a modern Ferrari, it's cheaper than buying a V12 front engine one, and the manual swaps are a thing now. So that's the whole reason I say 430, and I'm specifically talking about buying a paddle shift one and like a shit one just to manual swap it.
yeah, that'd be fair.
But
I don't like 430s at all because I don't like the design of them.
I would never buy one.
But I understand. Yeah, that's fair. I'm putting my personal biases aside for this entire thing.
Yep, that's fine.
And speaking of such, actually, this is something I would buy. This is a weird thing, and I know that, like, everybody's gonna go, "What the fuck is Ryan talking about?" But domestic front-wheel drive, 80s and 90s coupes.
I'm just picturing the notchback rear window right now.
I'm talking the Chevy Beretta,
Yep.
the Ford Probe, the Toronado, the Riata. Those things,
Yep.
really good. I am specifically not talking about any of the Chrysler LHS shit. That doesn't belong here. We're not talking about that. We're not talking about
talking about
Dodge.
Mustangs.
We're not talking about Avengers because those are all-wheel drive. But we're talking... Well, no, not Avengers. Actually, Avengers do count, yes, because they are front-wheel drive.
Yes.
But to a lesser extent, the Avengers.
Those are also kind of late 90s.
Yes, with the 80s and 90s, that, like, the era of, like...
The GM10 and the W size cars with the
Yeah.
3800 Series 2 and a
Yeah.
4T45E.
The very end of the K car, when, like, they'd got it figured out.
Just picture in your mind right now. Close your eyes, listener, and listen to the 3800 Series 2.
I'm thinking, close your eyes and
Keep them
think
closed.
of when your parents used to take you to Raceway Park down in Shakopee in like 1997. And you look down at the spectator drag and you see there's like a K5 Blazer, and what's next to it? It's a Beretta.
Yep.
That car is so nostalgic. I love those cars. I unironically really love Berettas.
Well,
I want a Beretta.
there was a Buick. What was the Buick called? That was that exact same car.
The Tornado. No, that's the Oldsmobile Tornado. What was the Buick? The Buick Regal.
Yeah, but like you could get the 185 horsepower quad 4 with the Getrag 5 speed in that, and they're worth nothing.
Oh, they're so good.
They're worth
They are-
$0.
They're fucking awesome.
and they're really good.
so good.
There was an entire like spec racing series for those
Yes.
back in the day, a factory sponsored one.
Yes. No, they're very good cars. Like, these cars are awesome. They were worth literally nothing. I rode a Beretta the other day.
Those were engineered to be race cars from the get-go.
Actually, yes, you're not exaggerating. I literally wrote a Beretta the other day,
Talk about a nothing car with a really fascinating history.
fucking great car. You know why they're discontinued?
Because of the copyright issues.
Yes.
I do like them parking the Beretta in front of the gun factory and just losing the keys.
So I wrote a 19,000 mile 1989 Chevy Beretta GTU 5-speed.
Oh my god, how much did it sell for?
It was no reserve and it sold for $26,000.
So the world's best Beretta.
Oh man, it is the titties. It is the absolute fucking titties. I can't get enough of this car.
Oh man,
I'm putting a link right here, right now, because I almost
what about a Grand Prix Turbo or something like that?
Yeah, exactly, the McLaren Grand Prix, but look how good that is.
That thing literally looks like it was taken in 1989 with the world's best camera in the dealership.
It's so good. I love that car. I love everything. It's a
V6 even.
That is exactly how it left the factory. And Donguel.
Yep, Donguel with a manual. Or,
In a V6.
In a V6, that's what I meant.
Ah, man.
I prefer the Quad 4 because the 2.8 pushrod is very meh. But
well, this is the thing. Later on, they put in the 3.1. The 2.8 was 1989. It was like 88, 89.
Right, but they never put in the 4 cam, so like...
No, you don't want that, actually, because the 4 cam kind of was a basket case.
Yeah, but the Quad 4 was good, and it was lighter.
Yes, it was. But, yeah, no, the 3100 actually you can get some power out of them.
Yeah,
But,
no, I mean, they're reliable. So, like, you could buy this and have a great time with the car.
But it isn't just, like, the Beretta. But, like, there's the Oldsmobile Toronado and the Riata, which are great. The Ford Probe is, like, totally slept on. Like, I unironically want...
good powertrains.
I unironically want a Ford Probe. Like, totally. I've joked about the Toronado being a collector car for so long that I feel like I manifested the Toronado actually being a good buy.
The 90s Toronado, it's worth mentioning.
Yes, the 90s Toronado. The 80s Toronado is, weirdly enough, actually worth something now. And I hate that. But the 90s one where they're actually, like, cool looking, like... Yeah.
Well, and the Riata with its CRT touchscreen and all that other bull crap.
And you could get all that in the Toronado as well.
Yep. Yeah.
Because
that was an even more upmarket car.
Yeah. I'm trying to see if we have listed one at Bring a Trailer. But yeah, that Beretta I wrote was just like, man, it was so good.
So mint.
It was just so primo to like write that. We did, yeah. So it was a 1990 Toronado Trofeo, $12,000.
Oh my god.
And it looks incredible. Like,
also, Toronado Trofeo is like the coolest car name ever.
Oh, it's so cool.
What do you drive? I drive a Toronado Trofeo.
Like, yeah.
I'm like, oh my god, is that Italian? I'm like, no.
This isn't the car somebody lives in a trailer park. This is the guy that owns the chain of trailer parks. Owns a Toronado Trofeo.
And he bought it new.
Yeah. Look how cool that looks. Like,
does that flip up headlights?
Yes. But like, the wheels and the everything's color matched.
And it's an Oldsmobile.
Yes, and the rear end is awesome. I love the rear end.
3800 Series 1.
I just love that so much.
Oh god, look at the overhangs.
Oh, the overhangs are incredible.
You add up both overhangs and it's more than the wheelbase.
Yes. It's unbelievable.
Very low refrigerant.
I love the wheels. The wheels are so good. Yeah, and like the warning lights. The warning lights are just silly.
Oh, the anti-lock light is on. Oh no.
I'm sure nothing on this works, but like, man, that's so cool. Like,
oh my god,
just such a great car. Somehow they coaxed 27 miles per gallon out of this on the freeway.
Did you see the sticker on the manual Beretta? It was 29 highway.
Yeah. Oh, very good.
Because it's probably got like a double overdrive
for that fifth gear.
Yep.
But yeah, like this is a great car. $25,000 for his Trofeo when it was new in 1990.
All right, in the interest of time, I'm moving on to my next pick. The BMW M2 non-competition. So like the first year
good
N55
car.
M2, awesome. They're
Very
super
good.
reliable. They don't have any of the later actual M3 engine issues. They're not very expensive. You can pick one up in the high 30s now if you really know where to look. Great car.
And
if I didn't own a 1M, and they'll appreciate it. I mean,
that's the thing with the M2 is it's not a 1M. And we're also saying the M2, not the M235.
Correct.
The M235 does not matter.
No. But like the M2 was sparsely enough sold, especially with a stick, and I'm talking stick. Screw the DCT.
Yes.
But like those cars, a lot of them are daily driven, used up on the track, things like that. But they'll never appreciate like the 1M will. But they never depreciated to the point of that either. Or sorry, they depreciated way more to that point too. So you can pick an M2 up for a lot less money, and you can just use it guilt-free and still make money on it going forward.
Yeah.
Like they've already bottomed, so just get one
Yeah,
now.
get one. Absolutely. So, my sell list. It looks like you don't have a sell list, but you can put yours together. While
I do.
on.
It's just
Oh.
not many.
Okay. So, my sell list, I'm going to start it out with the Porsche 356. Specifically the 356s.
Okay.
Because, first off, the replicas are actually better to own.
I believe
In
that.
every way. Like, they're just... you lose nothing. They sound like it. They look like it.
Yep.
They just are the same thing.
And usually the powertrains have been like kept up on with more
Yeah.
modern technology.
And
Like,
so-
hey, it doesn't have points ignition anymore.
This is what's wacky is the replicas are creeping up in value on the lower quality actual ones. Like I sold a replica at work last week, and it was like 10 grand over the cheapest 356 we've sold in the last year.
Damn.
It was super cool. It's like
I
a
kinda like
mid-engined,
to see that.
this is like a mid-engined, like Subaru Forester, like engine with like a 2-wheel drive, Subaru rear end, or like transaxle on it with like the rear end like capped off. It's a very cool build, and like, but still, like that's the thing is like the peak of replicas is now higher in some cases than the lowest quality 356, and
I like that that's becoming a
Yes.
thing where people are paying for the experience, not
not the car.
Right.
And like this is the thing is I love an actual real 356. I like tapping on it, hearing metal. Like that's cool.
there are some replicas that are all metal bodied
Yes,
though.
that is true. But that's the thing is like I don't know if like a 356 is a lovely car at $50,000, not a lovely car at $100,000.
No.
And these have spent a decade wildly overpriced. So I'm okay with this. And then my next one, 308s.
Okay.
Ferrari 308s, get out of them. Because
They are overvalued, I think.
they're wildly overvalued. The Mondial is getting more. Even that's like.
Well, I know
out
those
of-
appreciated
yeah,
too.
those are like appreciated out of the realm of possibility. They're not that great, realistically. I love 308s. I love Mondials. They're not good, though.
Well, especially like the pre-QV cars, like those. Looking at the prices, I'm like, are you serious?
No, that's not.
No.
You just really like Magnum PI. Like that's the only reason you want this car. Is you love Magnum PI, and that's
That
fine.
is true.
You should admit that. That's okay.
Yeah, that's true. That's a totally fine reason to buy a car.
Yeah, but I still. That is not a way to store value. That is, like you could honestly sell your 308 this year, and I bet you could buy a 308 in 5 years and
Be money
save
ahead.
be 20 grand ahead.
But the thing with the 308 too, it's not to the point where the cars were reliable enough to use every day.
No, they're not good.
No.
No, they're
Like
very much so a 1980s Italian vehicle. They're terrible.
Yeah, they're Magnetti Morelli mechanical injection, and like the engines have problems.
Yeah, no, they're not good. Like, there's a reason that they were parts cars for a long time. Because they're not good.
Oh
They
no,
suck.
my Lancia Thema 832 needs an engine. Where will I go? Oh, there's a 308 over there.
Next one, Datsun S30s.
Remind me what that is.
The 240, 260, 280Z.
Okay.
Not the ZX, the Z.
No, I know, like the
They've
good early
always
one.
been silly expensive. They've now, I feel that they've priced themselves out of what most people want because now people are buying a 2+2, which is like a big no-no because the 2+2s are terrible.
Well,
And
also
every
it's
single
ugly.
when I say every single part is different, the bumpers, which have nothing to do with the 2+2 bit, are different. Every single body panel of that car and thing that goes onto that car is different. The headlight buckets are different. Everything is different. There's nothing that bolts together.
It's a different car.
It's a completely different car. But people are buying those because that's the affordable way to get into S30 ownership. Like, it's just silly. Don't do it. There's so many other great cars in the world that exist.
That's like somebody that buys a 6 Series and discovers immediately that no 2 model years share any parts.
Yeah, like, it's so silly. Like, they're not good.
But the 2-seater cars are good. They're just, again, overpriced because people
like
bought into the hype.
Yeah, they
got bored over the pandemic. Like, oh, I want to buy my childhood car back. And they're like,
well, it's like you
no,
can
you
get
drove the market up. Thank you.
yeah, like you can get any number of other cars that are better at this point. Like if I was in the market right now for a 240Z,
Yeah.
I would buy a depending on the reasons why, I'm going to give you three other answers. A Celica,
Okay.
like a RT40 Celica. I would buy a Series 3 or Series 2 XKE, which
Okay.
is the inline 6, not the V12.
Yep.
Inline 6 XKE, or I would buy a S130, which was the 280ZX.
I know we've talked about that one before.
Those are the three cars I would buy instead of a S30, because there's about like a 15 grand difference between what the average S30 is and what it's really worth. Like, they're 15 grand to 20 grand cars for most of them.
It's the early 240 tax.
Yeah, and it's the same thing, but it's just like a lot of them are they're very, very good cars. Don't get me wrong. Like, they are incredible, great. Like, there's a reason that people like them.
But there's also a reason for why they transact for what they do currently, and it's not a good reason.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where this is the S30 is the Gen X like Tri-5. Like, it's the it's the Gen X muscle car. Like, you're at that point where this a 240Z in 2023 is buying a 70 Challenger in like 2005.
Or it's an 850i 6-speed for me.
Exactly. Like, it's a bad time to be getting into one. You are never going to get your money back.
Not to say it's a bad car.
If you really, really, really love one and it is like, you need this and there will be no other substitute, get it. Sure. And then my last pick is going to be 70s trucks, period.
Like square body Chevys,
Square body Chevys, Highboy Fords, Dodge D-Series and Ram Chargers, K5 Blazers, Bullnose Broncos. I mean, OG Broncos have always been just unaffordable, but like the Bullnose, like 80s ones, don't. Just sell them. Don't try to get into
What about
right
Bronco
now.
2s?
Bronco 2s are great.
I know.
But they're still appreciating. But like,
right, but are they overpriced currently? I don't think they are.
No.
So, okay.
And that's the thing is like, that is exactly what the problem is. I should not be genuinely looking at a Bronco 2 because, like, you're just in such a hot market. Like, they might have a little bit more to go.
Yeah.
But, like, now literally everything is just so bananas.
Well,
Like,
yeah, but I mean, it's still, the asking prices are stratospheric, and some things are still transacting for that, but we're on the way down in this cycle. So
yeah, and it's like you're
capitalize what you can.
You're running into so many other options where nobody remembers these being new.
Right.
That is going to be buying these. And, like, they're just kind of like, they're cool. Don't get me wrong. These are very awesome trucks. There's a good reason that they should be worth all the money. But also, it's like, I don't know, dude. Like, I love a K5 Blazer. I want a K5 Blazer very badly. I want
At a price point.
I want a Ram Charger. Am I going to spend 50 grand on, like, an International Scout 2? No! I'm absolutely not going to spend 50 grand on a Scout 2.
I like this vehicle $18,000.
Yeah, I like this vehicle where I can use it. So, and that's the thing is, like, you might be able to hold this or something, but you're not it's going to be harder and harder, I think, over the next couple of years
And you
to
had
sell
high-end
one.
FJs on here, too. I mean, to that same point, I mean, they've gotten so expensive. We just talked to any Land Cruiser, too. It's like, it's to the point now where it's not a car. Like,
it's an investment.
Yeah.
Like, the high-end Land Cruiser market is going to be, I think, cratering because, like I said, like, look at those Payeros. Mm-hmm. They're literally pennies on the dollar. Like,
quite literally.
you could get, and for the peak FJ40 is well over $100,000.
Damn it.
It is literally 1/100th the price. You can still get $1,000 Payero.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be shit, but yes.
But you can still get $1,000 Pyro
Right.
in which you could use to go off road.
Right. But it is 1/10 realistically.
It is literally 1/10 to get a good one, is 1/100th to have a functional one. Like, it is just silly. So what's your top 5?
Okay, for my sell list, I've got 60s muscle. So
Yes.
late 60s muscle.
Okay, yep.
Get out of them. I think they're overvalued, just like we were talking about with the 240Zs. I think they're in that same camp. People bought them for the wrong reasons at the wrong time, and right now they're transacting for more than they should.
That is true. There are some choice models, I should say.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we have to blanket because
you're not gonna get an AMC Rebel to get good money. You're not going to sell your AMC.
No. I'm
Marlin.
talking like Mopars. I'm talking like Camaros.
Yeah, the big names.
The big name stuff.
Yeah, like your top 10.
The Mecum cars.
Yeah, like a Buick GS. Like,
Sure.
yeah, Buick GSs, like Mustangs, like stuff like well,
Correct.
Mustang, depending on trim.
You Google 1968 muscle cars, the ones that come up in the top bar of Google.
GTOs. Yeah.
Those
Things,
GTOs,
yes.
the big ones. They're cyclical. They're a market commodity almost. I mean, they're at the peak. So get out of
Yep.
those. Next one probably going to surprise you a little bit. F355s. They're up quite a bit in value, and I think it's one of those things. In 5 years' time, they'll be at the same value. I'm not getting rid of my car. Great, but like one just like mine transacted with the same odometer yesterday for $108,000.
What?
Yeah, last time I did an insurance valuation on my car was worth $78. So like they're up a lot right now.
You need to get another evaluation.
No, God, I key in whatever I want, but I pay more for the insurance at that point too. So I'm like, if somebody lit my car on fire, 78's fine. That's why I'm saying get out of those right now, because I think they're a little overvalued right now. They will continue going up in the future, but like the service cost, you cannot ignore that.
No,
Those cars will always be a little bit lower in value than a 360 just because of that servicing cost. After that, I have the Ford OBS, but like the last 2 years of it where it had the Power Stroke. I don't know if you've looked at the values of those lately, but they're ridiculous.
Really?
Like a 96 or a 97 F250 Power Stroke is worth way too much money.
Yeah,
Same thing as the 70s
yes.
truck.
Yes.
So I'd get out of those and get something newer.
I think that they're because of the 70s truck.
I think so, because it's like you can have a truck that looks and feels like the truck you grew up with in the 70s, but you have like a really good modern diesel engine. You can still use it for literally everything.
It's silly expensive, but it's still a fraction of the price of what a highboy equivalent would be.
I will take your word for that. I don't research trucks that much, but I recently saw one of those.
At work because apparently hot rods means pickup trucks.
And like just anytime I look at any used pickup truck value, I'm like, I cannot believe you're getting that for that. But then two BMWs, E36.
Yep.
Specifically the M3. Holy shit.
They're not good. Don't lie to yourself.
They're not well made. They're great parts cars for E30s, but like if you have one of these cars in your garage right now, sell it, because like people are actually paying like 20, 30 grand for an M3 sedan.
Why?
No idea.
I have driven those multiple times.
I've owned a few.
I don't get it.
They're fine. But like, do you know what it isn't? Better than an E46 330 manual.
You know what I do? Every time I drive an E36, I go, wow, that's a really good car. And you know what I do when I drive an E46? I go, that's a really good successor.
And you know what you do when you get out of an E46? The door panel stays on the door.
Yeah, you don't get back into the E36.
And you don't stare back at the rust in your immaculately maintained door sill. So get out of your E36s.
Yeah, that's fair.
The last one I've noticed, E38s are going bananas.
Like the 8s?
No, the 7 Series. Like
7 Series,
specifically the last facelift Sport Pack cars.
Oh, yeah, I see what
The
you mean.
ones with the timing chain rattly shit. Like,
No, why? What the fuck?
one with no rust, no other prerequisites is 20 grand now. When did that happen? Those were $7,000 cars 2 years ago. They're overpriced right now. Great cars, overpriced.
All right, I've got two. Was that your whole list?
My whole list.
Perfect. Hold list. Muscle cars, all of them, including the ones you said.
Okay.
You own them for life.
Okay.
That you missed the boat. That boat sailed with the Great
And
Recession.
again, those cars are commodities, genuinely. So
Yeah.
time in the market beats timing the market. So if
Yeah.
you keep that car and you love it, keep it.
Yeah, it's gonna.
Eventually it'll be worth more money.
It will appreciate slightly more than inflation, I guess.
Probably.
But you now own a bond.
Yes. A really low yield bond.
It's a low yield bond that you have.
With a big penalty.
That every second you spend driving it or using it decreases the value of it. So you have a bond that you cannot use.
I love this bond. It's
I
great.
hate that. Trust me. Don't get me wrong. I love the concept of big power, dumb power. Like that makes sense. The price does not make sense.
No.
Like I like a good muscle car. I like myself a G-body Grand Prix, but I don't like myself a Buick GS.
You can
No.
get all of the experience
Yeah.
for a fraction.
Yes. And you know how I mentioned like those cars like AMC Rebels and Marlins and like the oddballs that like
Love an AMC.
Yeah, like just like a random Buick that's not a GS, like a LeSabre with like the right options, well optioned out like Oldsmobile, whatever.
It's the purest
a Pontiac
elitism.
Grand Prix that's not a GTO.
What about a Tempest?
Yeah, Tempest. Like,
Same thing.
there's a lot of.
I'm like, oh, this
big
one doesn't have the
power
badge on
cars.
it. Like,
Yeah, there's a lot of big power cars. Like, you can get a Grand Prix with, a tri-power intake, a 3 2-barrel carburetor intake.
and don't
makes
ignore
it actually quick.
a lot of those people have put in the higher trim engines and powertrains in these cars, and they'll
Yeah.
never be worth any more money
No.
because of it. So, like,
No.
if you're looking for that experience,
Go for it.
don't
for
pay
it.
for it. Because that is entirely an option.
Yeah, but if you have a muscle car and you were consider selling it to make some money, no, hold on to it. You own it for life. It's going to be the same price forever. And then Golden Age Honda Civics,
Yep.
specifically, not Hondas, Civics.
That's fair.
You have missed that boat. They're not appreciated entirely. But the Golden Age Civics, I would not buy one. I would not sell it yet, but I would hold on to it. Because that car still has legs on it. I think Golden Age Civics, we're going to see them probably peak at around 30 grand, I would say. And that's going to be for like your SIs. That means, like, I could see a day where like an EK Coupe EX is a $25,000 car. I hate that. I see that. But yeah, no, I could totally imagine like Chase's wife Clarissa's like car. Totally, yeah. Like to a millennial, that car to a millennial is your like 68 GTO on crackers.
I mean, yeah, but
Like,
look at the value proposition there. Like,
Yeah.
look at what a new car would cost you. Look at what a 5-year-old used car would cost you. I'm like, this
I
is
would
cheaper.
never buy one right now,
No, and like,
but I would totally keep it.
you know,
like,
I love EM1s, but like, they're too much already.
Yeah, no, they're too much, and they have legs. They will continue to
Oh
appreciate.
yeah, because you know what? Everyone else loves them because you know what? They're really good.
Yeah, they're really great. I think you can still maybe possibly get some dumb luck and get into like a EF, like low spec EF, or like a VX EG maybe. If you find like some dingus that has it, it
Or if
will
you-
be automatic
You
probably.
find a car with issues too. I mean, they won't appreciate as quickly.
If you can find any like functional Civic for under $2,000, buy it.
Oh hell
um,
yes, yeah.
But like other than that, I wouldn't sell them. I wouldn't go out of your way to go buy one. If you find one in an accident for cheap at like an estate sale, buy it. But like I wouldn't,
There's a lot of ifs there.
Yeah. I would never recommend going into 90s Honda Civic classic car ownership for anyone right now, because you have missed the boat of big profits. It's now at a point where you can't really use it that much as a car. They're so easy to steal.
Unless you're getting out of an S30 for way too much money to get into one of those, or like something like that,
Yeah.
where you're timing both of the markets.
Yes.
That would be the only
If you're
reason.
coming out of an S30, buy a Civic.
Right.
I can't imagine there's too many people in the world that are getting out of an
Probably
S30.
not.
Because usually most of the people are getting out of S30s right now, or the next seat is going to be a wheelchair.
I was gonna say they're buying a C8 Corvette.
No, they're getting out of their car because they're going into hospice. Like, I would not recommend that to anyone. So what's your holds?
My holds E90 M3,
Yep,
specifically the non-nav 6B,
Hold it.
but you know what I mean.
hold it. Yeah,
All of them.
makes sense.
70s Malaise. Like if you own any Malaise car, just hang on to it.
Pontiac Can-Ams. Google it. It is the coolest.
What year should I Google?
They only made it for. It was one car. It was cool as fuck, but it was the peak of malaise. This is
Oh my god, yeah, that front end is just
Yeah,
like
oh
it's
my God.
screaming 19.
this is the sort of car that like if you are otherwise, you need to put this on the screen for people.
I'm trying to get the image up quick.
With the Pontiac Can-Am, this is the sort of vehicle where if you are a otherwise responsible person,
There we go.
you will leave your family to go buy cigarettes and never come back.
Yep, this is the official car.
This is the official
of Daddy
car.
didn't come home.
Yep, this is the official deadbeat dad car. 100%.
But again, this car I cannot imagine is worth a goddamn thing.
They're worth all of the money.
Really? Why?
All of the money.
Why?
Because look how cool they look.
But it's a 70s car.
If you want a Malaise car, that is the coolest thing in the damn world.
But my point was
This
none
is
of the Malaise cars are worth anything, and some of them are good.
No, this is the deadbeat dad. Like, this is the F40 of NASCAR fans. Like, this is No, dude.
Okay, well,
My reason is
I
that they're
appreciate-
actually worth money.
I appreciate your Can-Am thing, but like my argument, which is the same but different, is the fact that like a lot of them are actually pretty good and they're worth literally nothing. So if you have one, hang on to it.
Yeah, and hang on to it. Don't go out of your way to buy them because, like, I don't know what the hell that market's doing. Nobody knows. The only way you could figure out this market
It's the
is
F40 of NASCAR.
this is the only way to figure out this market is to go to Turtles and Shakopee on like a Tuesday night during a NASCAR race.
Oh my god.
And go smoke a cigarette and talk to the person next to you. That's the only way to figure out this market.
Oh my god. That's very.
You need to talk to NASCAR fans. I don't know what the fuck's happening there.
All EFI Japanese 80s cars.
Yeah, don't.
No,
They're done. You've missed the boat. Yeah.
That was when you could own your aspirational car and just continue to use it as a car because
Yeah.
they work.
Yeah.
And that's where it came back to that Isuzu.
Yeah.
That's probably an EFI car because it's turbo.
It
And
is
in the
EFI,
80s,
yes.
yeah. So like it's just anything Japanese 80s EFI, keep it.
And don't sell it.
Don't sell it.
Don't buy it.
No, because you're probably worth too much money. My
Hey.
last one is a really oddball one, but the E70, so the 2010 to 2015 X5 with the diesel.
Okay.
For whatever reason, those cars are only worth about $9,000 right now.
That's all they should be worth.
No, they're tremendously good.
Really?
They do like 28 mpg on the highway. The engines never break. The
Why aren't
transmissions
you
never
putting it on your
break.
buy list?
Well, actually, that should be on my buy list.
Yeah, 'cause these
Never
cars-
mind, listeners. That should be on the buy list.
Okay, that's fair.
Sorry.
You know, my Subaru, my very awful
I sure do.
GL10,
Yes.
in its current not running condition,
Yes.
do you know how much it is worth?
Is it hopefully more than you bought it for?
Significantly. More
Wha-
than I have into it.
Why is that the case?
I don't know. But I will tell you that there was one with more rust that I saw on Facebook Marketplace.
Yours actually does look fairly clean.
Yeah, it's clean. It has no rust on it. Like, it's rust free. It's a giant sack of shit. And I hate working on it. It's a bad vehicle, and everything about that vehicle is terrible.
I've seen that car move once, and I want to say it was like 8 years ago.
Yeah, that's about the last time I drove it. I fucking hate that thing.
Get rid of it.
No. That's on my hold list. But I just saw one on Facebook Marketplace in the exact same condition. Like, automatic GL10 with didn't even have the digital dash, so mine's actually more rare. And that sold for $2,500. And it had, like, crusty rockers. Like, what the fuck? There's no reason. No reason for that. We don't need that energy in the world. There's no reason that car should be a penny more than a nickel. Like, that car's stupid. That's so stupid that car costs anything at all. It has no business. None. Not even a little bit.
Oh my god.
I'm just so mad about 1980s cars. This is why I'm in the 50s cars now. I'm priced out of the market. These aren't good cars.
Trade it for an XK and call it good.
Honestly, I can at this point.
Ooh, I'm fine.
But anyway,
Everything's fine.
that's our bear bull market list. Thank you for bearing with us.
And on
and
that
we will see you
particularly tragic pun, we'll
next
see you
time.
next week.